You never want to lose control, right? You always kind of want everything in-house. You want to kind of watch over things. And what I realized is I had to give the task over to other people. So if I'm using a third-party service, they have the system in place. They are training the people. They are managing and watching over it, and they're reporting back to me. I had to trust that that system would work, and it has. So I have less headaches.
What's one thing that you're the most proud of?
Every time someone comes in and they go, I'm so glad you guys are open. I'm so glad you're here. I didn't know what to do. That makes me know that, okay, we're doing the right thing. We're here and it's working. Every time that person shows like that appreciation, that makes me know, like, okay, we're on the right path. And that's enough for me.
Welcome back to The Doers, the podcast where we dive into the real stories of building, struggling, and thriving in dentistry. I'm your host, Dan Hall. In each episode, we explore the challenges, victories, and lessons learned from the leaders in the trenches doing the work and shaping the future of dentistry. Today, I'm joined by Rasheeda Johnson, the founder of Dentcare Now, an emergency-focused dental practice that's redefining accessibility and urgency in care. Dr. Rasheeda Johnson, welcome to the show. And thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing well. So let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
And Rasheeda, what inspired you to start Dentcare Now and focus specifically on emergency care?
It started at a bar, to be honest, just putting it out there. Me and my business partner, we were friends in dental school. We both went to Howard Dental. I was kind of like her mentor. She was my mentee. She was 2 years under me. And, you know, dental school is really hard and rigorous, but afterwards, you know, we go to happy hour. So our friendship and our partnership built upon that type of bond. And after residency, we're both hanging out in this bar with a mechanical bull, having a great time. And we were just kind of talking about work, and we were associates and being dentists and what we saw happening like in the area. We both did our residencies in New York City. Me, New York, her, New York City. And in New York, there's all these programs and these hospital systems that have like emergency care. So if you go to the emergency room, there's a resident doctor on call that can see you and kind of funnel you through a clinic or kind of give you some treatment. But in the DMV area, that's not the case because the dental schools are either in Baltimore, in DC proper, or Richmond. But in the suburbs around DC, there's not really anything. So we're like, oh, there's like an urgent care for medical on like every block. Wouldn't it be cool if we started one? So, you know, cheers, let's do this thing. I called the bank the next day, and that's kind of how it started. It was just like a fun conversation, a great idea. What if I was working in corporate dentistry, she was working as an associate at a private practice, and it's like someone comes in, they have an urgent need, but it's like the way dentistry is set up, you have to look at them comprehensively, and you're talking to them about this filling over here and Invisalign and these crowns. And they're like, hey, but this is bothering me. And it's like, okay, great. So I just looked at everything, come back in a week. And I felt like we weren't necessarily hearing the patients. So when we started this practice, we're like, we want to hear our patients. We want them to come in comprehensively, but we also want them, if they have an urgent need, we want to give them care now. And that's where the name Dentcare Now came from.
Yeah, I love the story. I love that your mentee and you're at a happy hour and come up with this idea. So many great companies are built off of a napkin, right?
Right.
Where people are out enjoying themselves. But also, too, the seeing the need in the community and comparing it to healthcare. I've had some other people on the podcast in the past, and that might be everyone kind of views dentistry as not part of healthcare,
exactly,
even though it is part of your body, right? Yeah, and exactly, it can be the gateway to a lot of items there. So awesome story. So with that, I just want to know, with emergency care, it's got to come with a unique pace and pressure. Mm-hmm. How did you prepare yourself, and not just yourself, but your team, to work in that type of environment and be ready for that every day?
We have a sign in the break room that says, you have to be crazy to work here. And there's also a sign in my office that says, be nice to people. So anytime we add a team member on, We want them to be open, positive, and flexible. Like, hey, anything can happen here. So we know how dentistry normally works, but here we say yes. And not just yes because we want to say yes, but yes because the person is coming here in need. So that's kind of how we prepare the team. If I'm honest, I personally, as a dentist, was not prepared for what this office needed. I kind of had this dreamer's mindset, like, oh, it's going to be great. We're going to open a practice. People will come and everything will just go amazingly. And a lot of times it was like chaos and confusion. We had to kind of figure out some systems, put out some fires, and kind of go, okay, so what does the demographic or the patient need? So if I'm a patient and I'm going into an urgent care, sometimes I would go into an urgent care. There's medical. How are their systems working? How are the patients checking in? What are they asking for? What does their paperwork say? What are their offerings in medical? And then I would look around and look at other urgent cares or even emergency dental practices. What are they doing? And kind of just taking all these things and putting them together. Okay, we got something that's working here. So every day it's like a learning process, because some days we walk in and it's nobody on the schedule. And then by the end of the day, we saw 15 people. So it's prepared for everything.
No, I love it though. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're going out there and just taking a system that's already working and applying it to dentistry.
Exactly.
And making it work for you. But that's got to be shocking though, to sit there for part of the day and there's nobody. And then all of a sudden by the end of it, you've seen 15 patients.
I'm never, especially on the weekend, you know, because I have a social life too. So someone's like, oh, you want to do Sunday fun day, like brunch or something? And I'm like, yeah, I'll pull up my schedule on my phone. I'm like, like 2 patients, might be a light day. Maybe I can meet you at 2. And then like by 10 a.m., I'm like, yeah, so not going to make it. And there's some days where we leave early and there's some days where we're open till 5 o'clock, but we're leaving at 7. So you never know. You just prepare to be there and be available. So
no, that's a lot to balance. So, I mean, clearly I'm going to roll into this and this kind of tees up this next question here. You know, every founder faces that moment when everything feels like it's on the line, right? Can you share one of those intense, uncertain moments that you were facing as you were building Dentcare Now?
COVID. We had our grand opening October of 2019. You know, just bright-eyed, bushy-tailed girls like, yay, we're going to take over the world. And the office was doing good. There was a slow build, getting our name and our brand out there. And then COVID happened. And what was good about COVID, COVID wasn't good, but what was good about that time period was everyone was closed in emergencies. You know, doctors' offices were open for emergencies. And it was like, oh, great. We're already doing the marketing for that. We're already prepared for that. So that happened. What we were not prepared for was like the side effect of employees, you know, just this like mass flight of employees, like my assistant coming in and with no experience, demanding $10 more an hour. I wasn't prepared for that. So there was a point in time where in 2021, we lost all our employees. So we had to go, okay, we're going to learn from this. We're going to survive it. My business partner is Dominique Bonner. Dr. Bonner and I were like, I'll come in and assist you and I'll check the patients in. She said, she'll come in and assist me and check the patients in. And we were in there every day together until we got a team. But then we said, okay, how do we prevent this from happening? So then that's when we started looking at outsourcing like our answering services, virtual assistant, revenue care management outside, just anything that can be done without depending on maybe one person or 2 people in the office. And then let's make it so easy. It's 1, 2, 3. You press this button, you do this. No matter who's at the front desk, they can check the patient. It can be done. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like a challenge. I couldn't even imagine losing the whole staff and then having to function while you're probably busier than your peers because you're an emergency.
Yeah.
Just for my own education, like to remove some of the geek speak, and maybe some of our listeners know what you mean when you say virtual assistant or revenue cycle management. Well, what did that mean? What are they doing for your practice that is your safeguard against losing your staff?
So because we're like outsourcing those tasks, no matter if the building is burning, someone's like verifying our insurance. Someone's answering our phone. So a virtual assistant is just someone outside, maybe in the country or outside of the country, and they have access to our phone system. And when the phone rings, it rings to the virtual assistant first, and they are trained to be like kind of in the office a little bit better than an answering service. Answering service, we have two. They just kind of take messages for us, but the virtual assistant is able to schedule, able to talk about billing, able to look in the patient's chart and like really identify issues and in real time message us or message someone in the office or call into the office like, hey, this patient needs X, Y, and Z. And then on our revenue care management side, like I said, the insurances are verified. It's put in the chart properly. It's consistent. So there's like the standard. When I know that insurance is verified and I look in that patient's chart, I'm very confident that the numbers are right. They just have a great system. Without me thinking, the claims are being generated, they're being billed, someone's following up, and I don't have to manage that.
Okay, so yeah, you must not be alone because I hear this pretty often, people looking at services like that. What did you find successful to fold them in and make them as part of your team? Because it sounds like you've really got it figured out here.
You never want to lose control, right? You always kind of want everything in-house. You want to kind of watch over things. And I read a book. I can't remember. It's like something like Get the Monkey Off Your Back. A friend of mine gave me the book because I was micromanaging. I was holding on to everything because I'm afraid that what's going to happen. They said, read this book. And what I realized is I had to give the task over to other people. So if I'm using a third-party service, they have the system in place. They are training the people. They are managing and watching over it, and they're reporting back to me. I had to trust that that system would work. And it has. So I have less headaches. Not sure if I answered the question. But.
No, that does. So I mean, that's a really good point. So think through your system and your processes and then hand it over and let the employees or the staff that you're outsourcing to run the system.
And then like the third party, they're working with other offices. So sometimes they're teaching us best practices. Like, well, I have this office that's doing this. You have this problem or you have this concern or this need. We see this. How about you guys do this? And we've been very open, positive, and flexible to changing things. If someone's like, this isn't working, we see this issue, we're open to making an adjustment. And being that way has helped the practice evolve significantly, very fast. And I think the problems that we have is not like patient care, managing the staff, or like these third-party things. It's like we're growing so fast, we don't know what to do. It's just us two. And it's 7 days a week. Okay, we need an associate. We don't have time to like look. We don't, So we've invested in the practice. We've invested in these like third-party services, but we've gotten a return on our investment. Like 10 times.
So shifting gears for 1 second, looking at leadership style, right? So you told me you had your signs up in the practice. And when you're building a team in that high pressure environment where you're going from maybe no patients to all of a sudden 15, it's not a small task. How would you describe your leadership style and how do you keep your team grounded in those moments of urgency when the waiting room's full?
I actually did like this leadership like summit and like they do your disc and kind of tell you your weak points. I'm a D, strong, big D, doer's dilemma, D. And, but I have like a little baby I, so I'm like fun and great. So if we're having a good time, we're doing good, the patients are happy, I'm happy. And you're doing your job, I'm doing my job, everything's great. But then when things are kind of going wrong, my D comes out. That's when my business partner comes in because she's a really nice, soft-spoken S. very loving, very team oriented. So I think our two personalities, because I'm like, let's get it done. Let's do it. And she's more like, how's your family doing? So I think merging us together has created like a leadership in a sense where we balance that out. In the leadership conference that I did, my weakness was team building. And I knew that going into owning a practice. And that's why I picked the partner that I did, because that's her strength. So as far as building the team, I built the structure. And then I kind of stepped back and let her lead that and lead those bonding moments. But we do every month, we have a team like outing to kind of just build that up. And that's when my eye comes out. And I'm like the fun doc, I'm the fun time. I'm doing TikToks and videos and dancing and singing, as long as everything is.
Well, no, it's great that you're self-aware and like you actually took the training. I'm familiar with DISC, right? Yeah. So it sounds like your co-founder is a higher I, perhaps, right? Yeah. And that D's got to tamp it down a bit, not be so direct and
dominant, demanding.
But great you'll find a lot of leaders don't have that self-awareness to then step back and say, okay, great. I'm going to let her check in with all the employees. How was the weekend? How are the kids doing? Versus, okay, let's get down to business.
Because I'm like, that's great. So did we get that task done? Did we call the patient back? And sometimes that can come off insensitive. But when I walk into the office, I've already logged in to CareStack and I've already looked at the schedule. I've already done notes. I'm already working while I'm driving to the office. So when I get there, I'm like, all right, let's get it done. We have this, because sometimes in these quiet moments, we need to talk about things before the chaos starts. So I want to like get to it, but I'm learning balance. Okay, let's talk about our days. How was your weekend? Mine was crazy. I saw 20 patients yesterday. Great. So, I'm working on it.
No, but that's good. You got to have that D come out once in a while. I mean, the patients don't know that you're going from 0 to 15. So I'm guessing for that patient experience, everything's got to be dialed in. So that way, when it's full, you're there seeing them, right? Taking care of their needs.
Exactly. And then the systems, those things patient care and patient satisfaction, you can't get me to like flex on that. Like that person needs, when they walk in, you need to greet them and say hello. And how can I help you? And be a big smile and great energy. And then how the person greets them and brings them to the back and all the steps. And it has to be in that order, because when it does get hectic, to answer the question before, if we're not following the system, if we just miss one step, if we miss one handoff, if the assistant like just starts the patient and walks away and doesn't transfer or communicate to the hygienist or to one of the docs, and the patient's just sitting there, then the patient will have a bad experience. Or I'm asking the patient again all the questions the assistant just asked. So the note template needs to be filled out. They need to communicate and transfer in front of the patient like, hey, she's here for an emergency. This tooth said she fell, blah, blah. That kind of thing needs to happen. And when those things don't happen, then that's when it's really kind of hectic.
Okay, this goes into the next thing. So the industry is changing rapidly, right? From DSOs to digital workflows, patient expectations, right? You just brought that up. What changes have you seen in how patients access or expect care, especially in emergencies?
So people want care like right now. Like some people don't want to fill out paperwork. They don't want to provide the insurance information. They think it's, I can't say for a regular practice, but for my practice, they kind of sometimes see it as an emergency room. Sometimes you go in the emergency room and they just take you in and get the information on the back end. But no one's coming into our office that needs like that type of care. Like, it's not life or death. So it's like, I understand you have the abscess, you're in pain, but we still need to, I guess I'm about the following the steps. So what I see with people is like, they're wanting it to be easier. They're wanting to be able to access a portal. They're wanting to be able to call if they have an emergency, or wanting to talk to the doctor. We do telehealth visits, like post-ops. they're wanting their prescription sent off right away, just kind of right now. Like literally, I'm seeing that. I started dentistry in high school, working at like a mom and pop office. So I've seen with the technology and just like the expectations, like things have changed from when I was like a teenager. I won't say it but when I was a teenager to like now, dentistry has changed like a lot with just the technology. Just like, you can just type something into Google or take a picture of something and it pops up. Like we're like in a microwave instant now type of like era. So I'm noticing that it's a lot more, if you don't do what I want now or how I like it, or if it's not the cost or the value that I see, I'm going to go across the street to someone else. And with corporate dentistry, they've made it very competitive in that way.
Well, what are you doing to stay ahead of that? I mean, what are you adopting within your practice to put Dentcare Now on the cutting edge and stay ahead of those changes and the competitors?
So I'm listening. So if there is a consultant or a coach, we have coaches, we like these third-party services. If they're like advising us in any way, we're listening. I go to conferences like at least once a month. And I want to see what's out there. I want to talk to other doctors. I want to talk to other people in the industry. What's going on? Are they putting chips in this, or they're doing that, or this is happening with AI? I'm following different like social media accounts, and I'm seeing like how those dentists are marketing themselves on social media. I guess just kind of watching and then taking the things that kind of work for our brand. It's kind of been what we've been doing. And if anyone is like advising us like, okay, maybe you should shift this way, then we're shifting. We're utilizing AI on the x-rays, AI with the phones. We're fully digital, like digital workflow, CT scan. So we try to have the latest technology. That can get expensive, but we're trying to keep up with it as much as we can.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like, yeah, you're really busy then going out there and crowdsourcing as much info. What's the number one thing you've implemented in 2025?
We have our like a digital lab. We're totally digital. We got a mill and a printer. So now we're able to really say, hey, you need this crown now today. You have an important meeting tomorrow. I can do that for you. You need a replacement of this tooth. I can do that for you. Your whatever broke, we can repair that. Before we had like kind of this working relationship with 2 local labs, and they would work with us on Saturday and Sunday and try to turn those things over like a day, maybe 2 days, but that was still too much time. And it cost a lot of money too. So now kind of having it in-house.
Well, it goes back to your name, right? Dentcare Now.
Yeah, like so now we're totally on brand, because it's like, hey, I fell and I broke my front tooth. Okay, you need a root canal buildup and crown. Yeah. I don't have to temporize you and say come back in 2 weeks, or even if I have to rush the case. A lot of times people come and they're like traveling. I'm out of town. I'm leaving in like a day, or So now that just kind of takes away that.
Well, we've talked a lot about operations, which sounds like you have a solid system with some processes in place and out there constantly educating yourself. Let's play a game of pretend. Let's say you have a magic wand.
Okay.
And you can wave that wand and fix one operational headache in dentistry. Ooh. What would it be?
Wow. Sure. If I had a magic wand, what would I fix? I would fix like marketing from my office, branding and marketing. I would just say, I would want everyone to know we're there. Easy peasy. I don't want to look at the ROM, the return on marketing. I don't want to have to try to see how we're tracking or how many impressions we have. I just would want people to know we're there and people to just come, and it not be about, oh, well, do you take my insurance? It just, we're here for you now. We'll care for you. come on by. Like that's, if I could just take away one problem, that would be it.
No, that'd be great. I mean, I think of like where you guys sit and what you want to do in dentistry. I mean, it exists in medical, right? There's the emergency room. There's a big sign in every town.
Yeah.
Emergency room. Is that like what you envision one day, that like people know the Dentcare Now is down the street? People
say, you think you need to go to a drugstore. You ask a patient what pharmacy. They'll either say like CVS or Walgreens. Like I want one day that they're like, oh, I need to go to, I have an issue. Let me go to Dentcare Now. We only have one location right now, but the thought is to have multiple and kind of have that thought process. Oh man, I forgot this. I need to go to Target. Like just they don't have to market. I know they market, but they don't have to market as much because their brand is known and the name is out there.
Okay. So it sounds like you're pretty tech forward, got all the processes. What role has technology played? Because I know you've mentioned a few things, digital workflow, AI clinically in the front of the office. Any other particular role it's played in helping you run your system?
It makes everything so much easier, so much more efficient. So like I said, our 24/7, our phones are answered, right? So there's 2 different answering services. There's 2 different virtual assistants. There's my front desk. And now we have AI to kind of monitor all of that. And it'll flag if a call goes wrong. So I can see how everyone's kind of performing and I can give feedback. Maybe not me personally, my office manager, because I'm not micromanaging anymore. But
well, clearly you must still be looking at those calls.
I am, or even like, because we just want to be accessible. If someone on our web chat and they have a question, AI is actually responding. So someone might message us at 3:00 in the morning and the AI is able to respond. So just like those little things are just totally helping to manage, I guess, patient flow and incoming and our leads, our lead generations, right? AI is just changing the game. Even the x-rays is just like, whoa, wait. I didn't even really realize that was a lesion, the caries. So, and being able to even communicate with the patient, like, you see this big blue mark or this big purple mark here, this is the cavity or this is the infection. It's easier to have those conversations with patients now.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times on the show where it's just really an augmentation in helping the doctor and the staff be more efficient, explain it better to the patient perhaps, or just a second opinion. Yeah. That's amazing. I want to shift gears and go step away for business for a second, right? We're going to have to tap into this eye for a moment. So let's wrap up with some rapid fire here. So what's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody out there looking to open a practice, especially... Wow, that was quick. I didn't even finish.
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, what type of advice, especially one as specialized as yours?
As an associate, I thought it would be easier if I owned and controlled the practice and everything would go perfect. Be prepared for the worst case scenarios. The advice I would give someone is truly prepare. If you're going into partnership, truly sit down and have conversations of how do we exit this thing, right? Like, great, we're thinking everything is going to go perfect, but what if it doesn't? Do you want to sell? What if someone comes and offers us this amount of money? Do we sell then? Just have those conversations, have a plan, ask for help, get mentors. Don't isolate yourself. I think why we've been okay is we talk to everybody. Hey, we're not ashamed to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was talking about with a dentist recently, you open up a practice, they give you this equipment. No one tells you all the maintenance. You have to have a assistant that's been doing it for 20 years and they know what to do with the chair and the autoclave maintenance or kind of compliance stuff. No one really, you don't come out of dental school and they're like, oh, this is how you stay compliant. You have to hire a service or this, that, and the third. So just kind of know what you're getting into. Talk to people that's done it before. Don't be discouraged. Don't be afraid. It's not as bad. There's going to be a hump and then you get over it, and then it just kind of smooth sailing. Like, oh, this is kind of working out. I kind of like being an owner, but just know the toilet breaks, you know, everyone's going to look at you like, hey, doc, so the toilet's broken. What are we going to do? And I'm looking like, who do we call? You know, the roof is leaking. Oh, I guess I'll call the landlord. But I'm not prepared for that as a dentist. Dental school doesn't prepare you to manage the building, manage the staff, know how to do the marketing, know how to manage your cash flow. Are you picking the right accountant? So just like all those little things, but we were guided by dentists who had practices, you know, and also sometimes people are jaded. Also be careful with that. Like, don't do that. That's not going to work for you. Don't go in that area, you know. So just taking the advice, listening, and also just kind of being balanced, staying and sticking to your vision, knowing yourself, what you want to do. If I have a friend that's like, I want to open a practice, and it's like, well, what do you want your practice to look like, right? Like, what services do you want to offer? What vibe, what feel, and like focus on that, but just have a plan around it.
No, that sounds like some sound advice. I mean, just well, I mean, it's great. Like, I can't believe you and your partner sat and talked through the potential breakup, right? And I think a lot of folks...
We were drinking. So we didn't. But we, you know, during COVID, when things were like a little rocky and we didn't know what to do, then we had to have the conversation. Okay, so if someone comes now and they say, hey, we're going to give you this offer, do we take it? Are we going to stick this out? How hard does it get before we quit? Are you going to quit? I'm not going to quit. You know, then we had to start having those conversations when we were a year and a half in. I don't know if we would have had that conversation if it wasn't for COVID, but like the world stopped. So then we're like, oh, snap. We have to pay this business loan back. What are we going to do?
Yeah, they didn't stop collecting on the loan. So what's something about your job that would surprise people at Dentcare Now or in general?
That I can do every role in the office, including cleaning the bathroom. I will clean the instruments. I'll break down the room. I'll check the patient. And sometimes I don't even wear a white coat because I'm like small and I look young and I'm female. And I started off in the dental practice as an assistant. I'll just check the patient in and greet them in the way that I want my staff to operate. I feel like we work as a team. And I lead by example, and I'll show them this is how I want the treatment plan to be presented. So if someone, it kind of has happened that way because we lost team members, so we had to do everything, but can do it from the start to the finish, do everything by myself.
I love that. I mean, because you can put it in a playbook, but I mean, like I'm a visual person. So if I were to watch you working, I could probably replicate it more so than sitting and reading it.
Exactly.
That's amazing that you do that and stay like on top of what's happening in the practice. So Rasheeda, it's been a fantastic conversation. But before we close, when you look back at what you've done at Dentcare Now and the impact you've made, what's one thing that you're the most proud of?
Every time it's especially on the weekend, but every time someone comes in and they go, I'm so glad you guys are open. I'm so glad you're here. Oh my God, I didn't know what to do. If it's like a little kid that fell or so it's always like a child or like an adult with like a elderly parent, or if someone had like some type of accident with their front tooth or like there's so many things. But when people are like, oh my God, thank God, I didn't know what to do. I called my doctor. They weren't available. I'm so glad you're here. That makes me know that, okay, we're doing the right thing. We're here and it's working. Every time that person shows like that appreciation, that makes me know, like, okay, we're on the right path. And that's enough for me.
No, that's great. I mean, I can only imagine it's got to make you feel good, but you know that you chose to do the right thing and you're helping people. So thank you again, Rasheeda, for being on here. Thank you to everybody listening. That's it for this episode of The Doers, where we share stories behind the work, the wins, and the lessons learned. If you enjoyed this episode, follow us and stay tuned on who's next. But until then, just keep doing the work.